Check 1, 2, 3. What's up, everybody? All right, we are documenting the first video that is meant to be on our new YouTube channel. Why YouTube channel? Just started the Facebook and Instagram a little while ago, and got a few views out there, got a few things, said a few things. What I don't like about these other channels, as much as I do YouTube, I tend to look at YouTube more because I like hour-long, 2-hour-long, 3-hour-long content. I just turned 47 last month, December, and I was given a ton of attention growing up. A little green tea we just made. Just finishing up some yum food here. First meal of the day, and a lot of times I'll take a nap even after first meal. But today's feeling a little different. Feeling very awake and aware. Maybe it's the green tea. And protecting the eyes a little. Getting out all of our supplies here. Putting on a sound bath too. So I was given a ton of attention growing up. First grandchild, first great-grandchild. My great-grandmother was around even before my grandparents had retired. And man, just always had somebody like that didn't want me to move 2 feet. They're like, no, let us change the TV channel for you, or let us bring the remote, let us bring you the food you want right there to where you are, so you can just sit there and get fat. How cool is this? In 1977, 1980, early 80s, to just allow your, we're no longer in depression, and we no longer have to like teach our kids how to farm and do all these things. We can just post them up in front of the TV for the first time. And I remember my great-grandmother, I was born in Tennessee, we're always watching the Grand Ole Opry, Johnny Cash and Dolly Parton and Randy Travis. And also there was soap operas on, General Hospital and Days of Our Lives and all these things. Part of me just gotta get this straight. Sound baths really help keep that pure vibration going. And look, the volume's 66. And today is the day and the week of 6. I'm following Gaia Chinaya as of a couple of days ago, and her app, and saw her on Emilio Oritz. Yeah, we got multiple devices here so we can keep track of all the people that we're shouting out and giving references to. I originally, through like following Aubrey Marcus and getting into Matthias DiStefano name right, because Oritz, Emilio Oritz, and we'll get deeper into the story. Right now, we're just kind of rambling about whatever we're led to say and to speak. Originally, my intention was to come in here and start writing down all these things that I've been channeling, and starting to understand just on a deeper level why I've left myself all these interesting notes and things over the years, why I've gotten certain tattoos or collected crystals and all these things who have led me to being exactly who I am meant to be, and showing me, what I was interested in over the years. And we've got so many notebooks, and just like, part of the great thing with computers is you can really start to organize your thoughts. I haven't quite done that so much yet. I've been able to create categories and stuff on the computers, but I'm not particularly a fan of looking at these screens all the time. It's made it a little easier now that I got the blue blockers. I can look at these screens a little bit longer, and we're not blocking all of the blue spectrum because it's absorbing into what's exposed here still. But it's okay, it's daytime. We can handle a little blue light. So, I'm going to have to make a cipher here of what letters in the English language correlate to what numbers. In fact, before I make a cipher, I'm just going to ask, because I'm being really drawn to M's, MLM, right now. And also number 6, I was saying, it's January 6th. And it's also what I just got channeled through Maya Chinaya. And she was just talking about this to a degree a few days ago, and then more came out that she just found out today. She's in Auckland, New Zealand, that today is the day of the 3 kings to be observed, or the 3 wise men that came and visited Jesus. And what do those wise men bring? Frankincense, myrrh, and gold, all of which can be burned, ingested. They're have psychedelic and empath properties. Delving deeper, going deeper, which I believe psychedelics, all these things kind of allow us to get out of beta state, normal. What is there to do? What problem was I solving? Because I'm typically in problem-solving mode, just all the time. Hey, we gotta hang up a clothesline and this and paint this vehicle and take it. Yeah, we have so much abundance just everywhere. It's always problem solving, and that's just my mind is wired to be one problem after another, which is why I do these certain medicines and empathogens and things to lead us back to a deeper intuitive state. What is the letter M correlated to numerologically? Okay, it says it has a numerical value of 4. 13. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Yep, 13. Wow. Hadn't really looked at it before. 13 is my number. I have been following 13s for my whole life. And I was born on 12/14, but Jesus was the 13th. He was the activator of the 12 disciples. I'm the 13th zodiac, Ophiuchus. I'm traditionally known as Sagittarius. I think Capricorn and Vague, but there's between Capricorn and Sagittarius there is a sign Ophiuchus. He has a snake in each hand, red way to intertwine them, the staff of Hermes, intertwining the male and female snake into the healing. That's where it becomes the divine hermaphrodite. So this is pretty much what I'm correlating myself to on the gender spectrum, is the divine hermaphrodite. I was raised very feminine, but then I really started getting into my masculine the most in my life 20 years ago when I moved to Maui, and I started climbing coconut palms, and I moved here as like vegan, raw vegan, vegetarian, whatever, always chasing the fruits and all those things. And just by working my body more, and now we have, for the last 15, 16 years, a landscape and tree trimming business. My partner and I own and operate that. Alisi, aloha, my love. We've been together 12 years, and she basically has been with the company like 11 years. We're 50-50 partners in Skywalker Elite Services, tree care specialists, also landscaping. And interestingly enough, our work for the last few years has just been declining, and really on the decline the last like 9-10 months or something, not really sure. And I just started delving and going deeper back into myself, using that time asking God, why don't we have work? What's going on here? And as we just kept not getting the bids, and not like, things were kind of falling apart for us. It was hurting our personal relationship, or as lovers, it was hurting our family relationship. As we live together, I do, I'm like the decorator and organizer and making all of our food. I've been making a lot of my food my whole life because I was raised by people that just cook, clean, and decorate. So that's like my deepest program. It's like hang out with retired people all the time and just cook, clean, and decorate. Well, that's what you're gonna wind up doing. And so anyways, I wasn't sure we were even gonna make it. We met in the year of the dragon, and it's been quite a wild year of the dragon. Again, here we are 12 years later, back in the last month of the dragon. It's been ripping people apart, as well as other things, ego and attachment to suffering. All these things I'm more deeper understanding now because of the content that I've stumbled into, especially through Emilio Horitz. He's got so many really people that have gotten in touch and have been led into contact with certain alien races, these things, or their higher self, or their inner child, or being able to channel like Saint Germain, Jesus, Siddhartha, Archangel Michael, all these things. So I was having these interesting like psychedelic experiences I was putting myself through, and I was getting really stressed out. It was very awakening. I've always really liked LSD. Has been the preference because it gives so much energy and focus and clarity, and a lot of times knocks out the pain. And it goes on for so long that I can like really find a long form content, focus on the long game, like a 12-16 hour, working out and like working on every little muscle of my body, I have just so many little tools and toys, vibrators, that have activated so many just frequencies. There's these things, sometimes they have 4 or 5 different vibrations. Some of these are like, I have some really interesting vibrating toys which unlocked a lot, especially during my psychedelic journeys. And the first breath work I was really getting involved with was Wim Hof, which I didn't realize was also combined with LSD LSD and all the financial stress and everything else was just leading me to a lot of long sleepless nights. And I went carnivore in almost 2 years ago, pretty much. Started full carnivore. We started doing keto like 7, 8 years ago, and went from like 260 pounds down to 150. Then like over time, started having a lot of just bloating and stuff through all the soluble fibers from keto, and found my way to carnivore and just eliminating fibers all in all. And that was great. We had like a 6-month goal, and we only made it like 3 months, and then I got COVID for the first time. So that was like 2023. And once I got COVID, the health really started plummeting. I had been on a good regimen for quite a while of actually building a lot of muscle and doing a lot of great things, following a lot of people like Mark Bell and Ensima, Ben Greenfield, Thomas DeLauer, Dave Asprey, on and on, all these health influencers, biohackers, getting into different, supplements, understanding mitochondrial health. But as our money kind of like started to fade out, it was hard to really get a lot of this help that I need. In Hawaii, it's hard to get good health care. We don't have access to like Function Health and a lot of these things that Dave Asprey and all these services that are on the mainland. We're still kind of blocked out here by the healthcare mafia or whatever it is. So the health started declining. I had to get out of carnivore because I got a kidney infection the same time that I virtually got COVID. Didn't even realize till my kidney infection was almost done that was part of it too. And the health really started just declining for quite a while, and I wasn't sleeping, which was like, making it decline even faster and faster. Realized, okay, probably a little bit too much LSD and a little bit too much like hardcore breath work. So getting these devices a while back and realizing that being able to control not only your oxygen but your CO2, and that when we inhale, it's stressful in the system. It's sympathetic activating, and when we exhale, that's the parasympathetic. So this device makes it easy to because we want to be inhaling through our nose, because that's sterilizing like 99% of pathogens, airborne things. And it's okay to exhale through the nose, but if you want to exhale through the mouth, and you can either make a small hole with your mouth, or with something like this, it just keeps you conscious while you may be working in the kitchen or listening to a podcast that you're focusing on breathing. So it's easier to do like a 4 inhale through the nose and like, an 8 or a 16 or a 28 exhale, which is more parasympathetic activating. So I was able to put myself to sleep within minutes with this thing, instead of like ruminating over all these problems I needed to fix. Because also, like, I'm a forward thinker. I'm always trying to fix problems, and that creates stress. But when you reflect, that creates the parasympathetic. So it's important, if you're trying to go to sleep and be at peace, you reflect on things from the past versus projecting into the future. And maybe good moments in the past too, even better, because then you can be at peace thinking about swimming in some waterfall, or making love, or whatever it is that's bringing you peace. But yeah, so it's got a regulator to help you control and kind of count. So started getting better sleep, just like working on different breath work with more exhale. And also, breath work is part of meditation. Part of like what breathing does is creates more space. By letting go of like, these traumas and things that we have, we're able to create more space and breathe we're able to let go of these traumas through, well, virtually just allowing old decrepit cells to be destroyed, and you recycle and use for energy, because if you're not taking in energy, you're expelling it, and we breathe out fat while we're sleeping. Typically is our biggest time of fat burning. So these pure harmonic frequencies also, because I'm a music lover. Every year on Spotify, I'm pretty much like the top 1% of listeners in the world. I think I listened to the equivalent of 70 full days of music on Spotify this year. I was in the top 1% of worldwide users, and that was only Spotify. I was also listening to concerts and watching concerts while I'm working out on YouTube. And I've got a bunch of records too, but I haven't broke out the records in a while. LPs, vinyl, CDs, tapes, all that stuff too. But Spotify makes it easy to just not have to dig around your collection. It's just right there. No skips on the CD or warps on the record. But it got into more of just listening to these sound bowls and pure vibrations more recently, after quite a revolution with my medicines. I got my hands on, I'd never really done ecstasy, but back in the 90s I did a couple of times, and it was a little speedy because MDMA has the extra methamphetamine in it, but MDA, which is like sassafras or Molly, doesn't have that methamphetamine. So therefore, they're not making as many hits of it, because that's one way that they just make 10,000 hits versus a 500. And it's more peaceful and relaxed and really more heart-centered. And I kind of stayed away from that medicine because, I don't know, whatever. Just God led me away from doing a lot of ecstasy. Maybe just preserving my neuro connections and serotonin receptors and things. But once I got a significant amount of this Molly, because I'd had some that somebody had given me a while back, a long time back, and they're like, hey, you may never come across this again. It's so rare. So, I just kind of put it back in the safe and forgot about it. But then I wound up doing a little trade with somebody and acquiring a lovely amount of it and started experimenting with it more. And at first by itself, but then very quickly I realized through Aubrey Marcus talking about how synergistic it is with mushrooms. And I've been given all these different varieties of mushrooms through people that are importing them or growing them out here, whatever. There's a huge mushroom revolution, obviously. Not all are psychedelic. I've been, they're soluble fibers, so we're using different mushrooms through keto as far as just a good fiber source for fermenting and creating food for the microbes in our gut that make the signaling molecules to send to the brain. Well, I could spit biochem for days. I learned so much in my 8 years of keto and Thomas DeLauer, and I'm not going to go down the wormholes of all that right now because we're just kind of painting a general broad spectrum. And I'd be happy to work with anybody on any level where you need specialty health, whether that's physical, mental, psychological, social, financial, spiritual, communal. I'm a fully integrated being through going so far into the feminine, so far into the masculine, back and forth into the extremes, always being extreme my whole life, and always have been led more towards the feminine, still very more feminine being the masculine, but the masculine helped me to make boundaries. It helped me to get healthy enough to actually start to express more emotional and mental and heartfelt wisdom, because it is basically the first pathway in our activation to open up those realms. It's realm 7, and we have to master half of it before we can start moving up into realm 6, the emotional, the connection with very long cycle that she's activating and using us and using all kinds of things, nature, to activate through in her very long cycles. So virtually, I being the divine hermaphrodite, the Ophiuchus, who's intertwined the staff of Hermes and understand how to balance the masculine, the connection with God, the throat chakra, the third eye, and the crown, and the mother, which I'm way more comfortable with. But being 47, I am in my crown. 42 to 49 crown. You spend about 7 years in each chakra. So, being able to, and I've been so alone through most of this journey because, well, basically because I've had demands along the way. And the number one demand was integrity. And that's not a very easy thing to find out here in the islands. Everybody's on Maui time or island time, which means you allow people to be late. You don't freaking cuss them out for it. You allow people to just move in a slower time, show up late for meetings and whatever. You know, this is New York. This is the islands. Just let it be. Well, I can't let it be. Whatever reason, realized how important integrity was like 15 years ago. Pretty much like doing business. I was doing business with kind of a very loose scoundrel type of person at first. And he was really hurting the community through not having integrity and lying his way through life, yet painting to be some kind of like elevated, ascended person. And really just using lies and deceits to fulfill what his ego wanted, and being scared to step into truth, and always and not acknowledging the darkness. No, everything is light. It's all good. Okay, whatever just happened that looks bad to you, oh, it's all beautiful and perfect to me. And you gotta, and you know, it's interesting. I understand now that when people won't address the darkness, that's a pretty huge warning sign. You know, like we have to really know and understand that we are half dark and half light. I mean, it's the yin yang, and the shin is in the middle. Yin, shin, yang. That is where they intersect and is the neutral place. Just like alpha, chi, omega. The chi is the X. The chi is the divine hermaphrodite, whereas our brain floats up and down. It balances the pineal and the pituitary, the left eye and the right eye. The right eye activates left brain music, right eye, left eye, right brain geometry. Geometry is in the 6th dimension. Music is in the 8th dimension. And we are basically in the 3rd and 4th dimension, being run by 4th dimensional overlords and splitting from 3rd dimensional beings to 5th dimensional beings, where unity consciousness is. Enter the scene, me. Other beings explaining how their ascension looked, how their soul connection looked. I've understood that I'm being called to do something else, you know, other than just tree work and landscaping and working out physically and studying and being a biochemist and being a carnivore and trying to like win all the vegans and vegetarians over to the carnivore side and win all the, you know, only deal with unvaccinated people, because like, oh, if you're vaxxed, you're poisoned. If you're vegan, you're probably going to go crazy because you're not getting the, you know, blah, 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 the separation. As we get more information, we would like to separate more and more and more and more and more, and that's what's caused this. So now, rethinking approach and being careful about subjects that create a greater war. You know, politics, religion. We've always known that, but food, there's also a great, there's a rift, you know, because we don't really agree on what we're meant to eat. But we do agree on a lot of things about health and wellness. The need for sleep, the need for hot and cold therapy, the need for breath, and that we can control these things, you know, and we can was actually the very first emotion denoted in the Bible, where Adam, after eating of the tree of knowledge, good and evil, he was hiding from God. God's like, "What are you doing over there hiding, homie? What's up, Adam? Oh, I'm naked, dude. What? Who told you you're naked? Oh, the woman gave me this fruit, blah, blah, blah." You know, shame and blame, basically, hand in hand. So, a lot of people are operating in, the shame self, the very lowest frequency we can operate in as humans. And the highest frequency is 1,000, which is Christ, Buddha, Saint Germain, all these people that, attain Melchizedek, these great teachers that have come back to heal rifts through different lifetimes and dimensions of time and space, not only on this planet, but so many. And integrity resonates around 200. You can look up the Hawkins scale, Hawkins, and it's I found it through this quantum network where you can get quantum vibrations beamed at your house or your business location or at your pets or wherever, at your, it has to be a physical address so they can beam in these quantum vibrations. And so for about 15 years, I've been resonating with integrity and realizing that, it's not even worth building anything with anyone once I started playing with the Molly mushrooms, I was just like listening to this 100 hours of content of Midnight Akabeka, aka BAKA, and MIDENITE, Von Benjamin being the channeler of consciousness. I would say ascended master, all the way, all the way. Yeah. Months and months, I'm just like letting these 70 hours on Spotify just roll through and listen to all the Midnight albums, and then all the Akabek albums, then back to all the and in order from the oldest to the newest. And that's how I've always listened to music, pretty much. I like listening to whole albums or whole concerts. I don't just skip around and listen to a song here and there. And singles, not really for me. I like the whole flow of how they put it together to, like, you know, bring it to a peak and then like bring it back down, and like the waves that they've created. It's really just genius how artists and musicians create these flows. And it's kind of why I'm turning the camera around the room too, to show you some of the art and things that I've collected in the space. And a lot of it I've done. A lot of my art up there. I've painted mannequins too. And back here is my pet monster. I've had him since the 80s. Some workout tools and things that I have in here. It's my little day bed. Got an AC going in here, so even when it's hot, I have a place to go that can chill out, breathe, and, you know, not drive Elise crazy, just talking and talking and talking and talking. So anyways, so a lot of these other vibrations have come through as I've started to listen into vibrational music that awakens parts of myself, of the self. And yeah, I've always been really good at memorizing the words of albums. With Midnight and some albums, it's a little tougher because they're not speaking really clear English. He's from the Virgin Islands. You know, even rappers with their ebonics. I was born in Tennessee, so I was listening to a lot of Southern rap. Really love like J. Cole, Dreamville, Smino, Spillage Village, Jid, Earth Gang, all those guys. That whole clique. Kaz, Boz, Loot, Mariba. Holy moly. Yeah, all this beautiful stuff out of the South. But my vibrations really started to change once I started to activate more with the Molly and mushrooms, and would find myself just having these sound bowls going and starting to channel this other being who comes through, and he knows how to express a lot. his life through watching field mice and seeing what they have to say. And he's looking for the details and the small clues, the way they twitch their whiskers, the little things that they do, and the way they activate. And, you know, the synchronicities we put into our life, and also the clues that come together, like M being 13. So back to that. I came in here to activate and write a cipher for the alphabet. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. So, as we found out the first of this video, M is 13. So, I started Maui Metabolic Miracles as my Instagram. And metabolic, I live on Maui 20 plus years. And metabolic means anything to do with the mitochondria. The mitochondria are the powerhouses of our cells. And they take the spirit energy of the universe and turn it into our biochemistry, which is a miracle. And I'm not the person that feels like I need to get degrees. I had thought about it for a while. Hey, how do I become a personal trainer and get the right to touch people and all this stuff? And I may get some kind of degree. But really what I'm leaning into more is a private club. And by just being in the private club of members, we've all agreed it's okay to touch each other. If you fall down on a hike, that's your fault, not the club's fault. Like, you know, like creating this thing where we can all be protected in this space. You know, if we're tripping together and you trip out and go to the hospital, you can't sue us. It was your choice to do these medicines. And, you know, like really outlining it to protect all the beings in there and to review these beings and make sure that the people that are going to be coming to Maui or going around the world and activating portals and vortexes are in alignment with each other and know the rules. Know that integrity is number one. And if you come in speaking deception and lies, you will be removed from the club. Right? If you don't know how to apologize when you're wrong, you will be removed from the club. These are the two main things. We must have unconditional love enough to create boundaries that protect not only ourselves and how much we love ourselves, but the family that we are creating, our ohana. Ohana. Aloha. Wes, welcome, community. Thank you for being here with me. I am your newscaster today. Yes, the neutron is the newscaster. And we are talking about the letter M. So Maui Metabolic Miracles. It is my Instagram. And my mechanic has been one of my greatest buddies and allies. I helped him with a lot of health and things and getting into a whole new way of seeing life. And he's helped us financially through fixing our trucks, upgrading us to four-wheel drive trucks he had, being very generous with his abundance and helping us as Skywalker Elite Services, which is the Green Team 13 at Gmail. The Green Team 13 at Gmail. And helped us to get our first bucket truck, 4x bucket truck, 3 other 4x4 trucks, because, you know, we're out romping around people's property in the forest, and we have mainly 2-wheel drives. He's like, you gotta upgrade, here's a truck, I just fixed this one, here, I'll give it to you for exactly what I got into it. And just being awesome, gave me my first gold chain, three kinds of gold too, rose gold, yellow gold, and white gold. And I have some wire wrap gold pendants. I have so much gems and minerals to play with. Oh my gosh. It's part of my calling. I've been seeing all the activations that we're supposed to do with these Hawaiian hardwoods and these gems and minerals. And really it's just like creating the time and space and the tribe that wants to come together and have the tools and activate and create talismans, talking sticks, symbols, weapons, morning stars, halberds, like all kinds of things that remind us of our past, align us into our future, arrows, spears that whoosh, point us in the right direction, swords with the cross pointing to the North Star. got some great people to reference and videos I could send over. Love to help with health stuff. Whether it's physical, mental, psychological, emotional, spiritual, financial, like communal, all of it. And blessings. Looking forward to helping. Whether that be for money, for trade, for crystals, comic books, whatever. Our money system's failing. Obviously, we can use some cash, always. Like, we're so almost out of business as a business because we just haven't been getting work. And, like, why, God, what's going on here? What am I supposed to do? So, I came in here to write about what's next. And, I grabbed one notebook out of many. And I was just writing this week Maui Marriage Masters. Haleakala's house of heavenly honoring. The union of lovers, integrating physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, financial success through challenges, games, activities, deprivation, feast, fast, hiking, biking, biohacktivating, and private counseling and events, as well as communing with lovers and cultures from around the world on Maui. So I realized a long time ago, I'd love to be involved with lovers. Like, as far as a demographic, people that actually love each other. Not the people that are just stuck together and picking on each other all the time, but people that want to bring their love into a greater union. I'd like to host people, Alicia and I would love to host people from around the world to come and brew a sacred mead with us. Because before we got into keto, we were brewing with honey and fruit, which is in abundance here in Hawaii, and a champagne yeast, Lalvin EC1118, and we were getting like a 10, 11, 12, 13% alcohol that was super sparkling like champagne with all these different fruits. And that was a hard one to give up once you're going down to keto and like 20, 30 grams of carbs a day. Can't really have alcohol anymore. Plus, it's like, it's like all in all, it was best to leave behind. But I would like to have people come out and brew a special mead with us with their favorite fruits or fruit multidimensional. Ministries. As I went through a lot of the words, like getting ordained a priest or a minister or a paladin, or a lot of these things that I've seen in video games that have been like the healers in video games. The paladin has a sword and shield that he fights with to keep his boundaries, but he also has white magic spells. And priest kind of, it almost like leads me to like Christian versus monk. Feels more like Buddhism. And I wanted to tie it together so that it didn't feel like one religion or another. And so magnetic is what came to me this morning to like really draw the polarities in, or to create, a push and pull of the polarities. But multidimensional ministries. It almost sounds like, aliens or something like that, but all these like masters were kind of ascended masters were aliens. Virtually. So here we go. Second. Ministries. And now it's coming a little bit more. I'm considering getting an AI to help make flyers to put up at some of these retreats and retreat centers here on Maui. We take care of Haleakala down Faith Road. It has a saltwater swimming pool. There's 100-foot waterfall that we can go to the top of and swim around in. And like we trim the views where all the cottages are around the cliffs so you can see the waterfall, as well as like trimming the trees. And then that's Haleakala. It's the retreat center. Paliuli is more like for the work traders and people that have the organic farm around there, because they also like sell food. They have ducks, duck eggs, and growing turmeric and all kinds of medicinal trees and plants and stuff. So we can basically do tree trimming and landscaping work and trade for credits to rent some of these rooms that are all like decked out with like Buddha pictures. And so it used to be like a tantric retreat back in, I think, the 60s or 70s. And, a great place to start, because like sacred sexuality kind of woke up when psychedelics came back into the scene after thousands of years of not really having as much psychedelics. I mean, I think civilizations like Rome and Greek and like Aztecs and Mayans, they all had their different psychedelics, but a lot of that was really repressed as the witch hunts and things pursued, and just wasn't acceptable in the fall and winter 12,000 years that we went through since the flood, the big deluge, which I believe was around 12,000 BC, 10,000, 12,000. everything really, and music is like really the number one thing, vibration, that like really brings me the most joy, and the most, not even just joy, being able to listen to Anita Franco and cry and scream, Fiona Apple, Rage Against the Machine, all the emotions that are embedded in music, that eighth dimensional gift we've been given, which Matthias DeStefano is really in touch with. And I'm very good at math. I was in calculus in high school, trig, all that. So like Robert Grant was sixth dimensional and unlocking the geometry. And these are kind of like the key to like right brain, left brain, like creating this balance and unlocking the secrets of all these PowerPoints. So Haleakala is House of the Sun. And it's supposedly the tallest mountain on the planet from the bottom of the ocean floor. So we live 3,500 feet up the mountain, and it's a little over 10,000 foot elevation to the crater. And virtually, we've been wanting to create a private club and invite people over, and I think a lot of that is in the lovers club, the marriage masters, but all aspects, whether people want to heal physically or whether they're willing to help and come heal the trauma of the islands that have been conquered and kind of destroyed and polluted, as all these other places in the world. I'm understanding that, Gaia, Chania, and, I could drop a lot of the other names of the people that I've just watched this week through Amelia Oritz's channel. Man, a lot of these people are traveling the world, as well as Robert Grant, Matthias, and activating, they're like clearing frequencies from places so that other frequencies can be booted up. And the earth is leading them to these places and coming together to not only clear but instill new frequencies. So I would be asking if we could start on Maui, which is where I'm located. I'm holding space here. And I'd be open to traveling to other islands and holding space there, or finding the space holders that can guide us, because I don't really know much about the PowerPoints of the other islands. I know that lava is flowing. Pele's been erupting. And my girl erupted with Pele on Christmas. Got freaking naked, had her first really psychological breakdown on Christmas Day, and was screaming through the neighborhood because like everywhere she stepped, ants were starting to cover her body, and it just broke her psychology down, and she started channeling these other like beings of great agony, and like because the earth's heating up and the ants are coming to like really like look for water anywhere and kind of just eat it up. And she was like, wow, the place that was never needed protection was so isolated, and now all these invasive things have come and it's destroying the delicate ecosystem, and it just really set her off. And she took off her clothes and was screaming through the neighborhood for people to wake up, and it was quite amazing. I knew that she had a lot pent up in her for a while, and kind of been trying to get her to have an experience that would open it up and not be so reserved and holding it all back, and it sure erupted. I'm glad we live in a place where cops weren't called and we didn't wind up in jail or whatever could have happened, or getting taken away on an ambulance and having to pay a bunch of medical bills for some antipsychotic is us.
Hello.
We're just in real time creating our flyer, our activation, planning everybody's, and something about meditating monk.
Ministry.
eye of Horus or the right eye of Ra, carnivore, vegan, vaccinated, unvaxxed, black, white, good, evil. We got to triangulate the frequencies into the third eye. And harmonize the frequencies with the throats. So then instead of just words and debating, we go back to Stick it in my ear. So yeah, Haleakala Anchormon signing out here, and we're gonna hop back on very soon. Like I said, just need some time to breathe. You know, like been sitting here in the AC for a while. It's a little chilly. Gonna see if the sun's out, 'cause definitely I haven't gotten my naked sunbathing session in today, and got some red light therapy and sauna to do, and potentially a little nap, hopefully a massage, because we're starting to feel some of the physical tensions. We would like to honor ourselves in this moment. So thank you for being here. Come again soon. Alicia?
Namaste.
That's my little